you, Lynn. Uh-oh. I have to be good, I was told. Good morning, everybody. And for those of you who have not had a chance to meet, we've just got a few minutes to talk. I've passed out my little presentation so you can take notes. And at the very top, it says it's a discussion. So if you have questions, stop me. If I start to run short of time, I'll rip through the end of it, and I'll be happy to stay and chat with you later. So when Lynn and I were talking about what to talk about, let's talk about the way to prepare for your next step in your career. And I don't care if you're working for somebody else, if you work for yourself, or if you're getting ready to retire. That's your next step in your next career. I'm old. My next step is going to be retirement, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do. And the same thing that leads us to your next job, it's the same thing as any step in your career. So here we go. It's never too late to plan. So gosh, I hope you all, so scribble as you wish. All right, as you consider your next career step, let's talk about 11 things that you need to do. Inside or outside your company, it doesn't matter. Reflect on your goals. How many of you got your goals in your head? How many have you got them written down? Keep your hands up. How many of you look at your goals every week? Goody. Every month? If you look at them every week, you're better off. There are statistics that say, there's an old Harvard study, that people who write down their goals and look at their goals are 70% more likely to reach their goals.
Yes.
So if you haven't started writing down your goals, just put it on a Post-it note, put it on the mirror in your bathroom, and just look at it as often as you can. It works. Okay. Think about what you want to accomplish in the short and the long term. For some of us, 15-year goal setting is kind of out of the realm of possibility. But everybody has a goal for what they want in their life. And that life has to do with your career. It has to do with what you want to earn. It wants to do with the time off. We've heard it too often, especially for some of you younger kids, you want a work-life balance. We all want a work-life balance. And if you're in a spot in your company that doesn't give you that, it's time to think about that next move. Think about the changes that you're going to have to make in your career to give you what you want in your life and to reach your goals. Okay, so let's talk about your unique skills. We all think that we're adorable. And we all think that we dress to the nines. And we all think that we wake up bright and cheery in the morning and can talk to anybody. My son was 9 years old when he said to me, "Can you please stop? Everybody doesn't wake up like Chatty Cathy." And I went, okay. And you have to learn, what are your skills? Some of us don't get up early in the morning. Some of us how many of you really come to life at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? There are people like that. And if you don't have a job that fits that, you're going to fail. And you have to understand your own skills. The only thing I ever got in trouble with ever in my life, I went to White Station. How many of you are Memphians? Okay, so the 6th grade study hall monitor was the football coach, like always, right? The only thing I ever got in trouble was talking too much and asking too many questions. My father nicknamed me Nose and Bomb when I was 6. So what do I do for a career? I spend all day, every day talking to people and asking dumb questions, and it's the best thing. Many of you know that I'll tell you that, come on guys, the only stupid question is the one.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. You know your skills. That's my skill. I am inquisitive. I will ask anybody anything. Stand still for 30 seconds and I'm going to know everything about you. We'll play that game in a minute. So know your skills. And sometimes you're going to have to convince whoever's going to hire you next that you really do have those skills. So you need to be able to verbalize them or write them down in a way. I'm not going to talk about resumes now because this is more important. This is you. We can talk about resumes a whole nother time. That's a whole different thing. Okay, so you want a new job. Inside your company, outside your company. How many of you, raise your hands, have interviewed for a job, not you, Carlin, in the last 2 years? And how much fun was that?
Great fun.
Great fun. But it's difficult now. Interviews now are very different than they used to be. How many of you interviewed for a job 5 years ago or longer? 10 years ago or longer? It's a long, different process now. So if you think you're gonna have to interview, practice with somebody. Doesn't have to be me, somebody. Pick up the phone and call your best friend and say, take me to lunch and play like you're interviewing me for the president of this company. Ask me stupid questions, here's the job description. But practice. Because when someone says to you, hey Dottie, tell me about yourself. Please don't start when you were 4. That needs to be a few sentences. You need to practice. Be specific. How many of you interviewed with a panel? How many of you think you're gonna have to interview with a panel? Panel interviews are not easy. If you look at me now, I am looking at most of you in the eye. So if I was looking at this panel and I got to ask a question, I'd have to start looking here and answer there and come back and finish there. Interview panels are very different than they used to be. And you need to get used to it because it's happening now. And that thing, that Zoom thing is making it more difficult. How many of you have interviewed via Zoom lately? I had a good friend call me and he was interviewing for the president of a company. And I said, great, is it Zoom? He said, yeah. I said, okay, what time? He told me. I said, fine, let's Zoom tomorrow at the same time. He went, why? I said, because I need to see the lighting in your room. I need to see what you look like and what you plan to wear. Well, that bright white shirt looked green. And he looked funny. And he went, oh my goodness. So if you think about what you're gonna do, and I'm really bad about this because we've all got Zoom interviews. 10 minutes before I have a Zoom meeting, I'll turn on a Zoom meeting in my own camera just to see what I look like and what the light looks like, because it changes all the time. So be careful about that. Your best foot forward. Sometimes that only one chance to make a good first impression is in front of that little bitty camera. Establish a personal brand. This is difficult for most of us because I don't know about you, but my arm doesn't reach around and pat me on the back a whole lot. And it's not easy to do a personal brand. You've all got LinkedIn profiles, right? Does anybody not have a LinkedIn profile? Just put your head on your desk and you can go to sleep now. Update that all the time. We know that LinkedIn, unfortunately, is where people look. Yes, I send out resumes, but I hate the call from an HR manager that says their resume doesn't match their LinkedIn profile. And I can't fix that for them. So if you are interviewing, check it out. Do they match? They don't have to be word for word, but at least the dates are the same. Because somebody's going to check. Besides the LinkedIn profile, especially some of you who are in highly professional and technical and engineering things. How many of you publish anything? Good, keep it up. Publish a lot. And put those links in your LinkedIn profile to wherever you publish. It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I'm gonna tell you, I'm sorry you didn't bring your cards. Everybody got your own business cards? They're cheap, they're inexpensive. Okay, and I am the worst. How many of you write on the back because I don't? Thank you. Use that space. It is nothing. That's the other part of your brand. Write something on the back of it. I don't do that, and I should, but I've had my cards for 35 years, and I'm way too old to change on that. Social media sites besides LinkedIn, be careful what you post on Facebook. We tell this mostly to our younger kids. I'm sure that it was great when you had that keg party in your backyard and somebody was standing on your shoulders with not a lot of clothes on. Get it off your Facebook page. Because people will look, unfortunately, and they will look. So clean it up. Clean up your social presence as best you can. So, how am I doing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
You got 15 minutes.
Oh, good. Okay, think creatively. This thing about long-term goals may not align neatly with your current position. Think how you can get from where you are now to where you'd like to be. And that's a difficult thing. In the back, you're changing from a very technical math-oriented position to more of a human resources position. For those of you who are taking a right turn in your career, this is when you've really got to start thinking creatively. What is it that I don't know to do that job? You're gonna get a job description somehow or another for whatever that next step is in your career. If it's internal to your company, I'm hoping that most of your companies will have a career ladder that'll tell you for you to go from this position to the next position, you really need this training or these skills. Figure out what that is. Go get it. Go learn. Technology right now in most every industry has changed the way we do things. We're not gonna talk about AI to the end, but I will. I don't know about y'all, but that's brand new. I've had that thing for 1 week. Anybody else got an Apple Watch or whatever, a smartwatch on your hand? It's really kind of fun, but it took me a long time to get there. Our phones are our lives. My other favorite tool, for those of you who scribble everything, does anybody have one of these? Remarkable. That's probably the most fun thing I have bought, and it's not that expensive. You write on it like a tablet. Ooh, I'm a salesman right now. It looks like a piece of paper. I've got 8.5 pieces of paper. It's got files in it, but it hooks to my phone and it hooks to my desktop. So every time I go to a meeting, all of the papers, all of the agendas, everything that's there is in here. I can write on it and it syncs back to my computer. For those of you who take paper with you everywhere, look at something like this. It's a whole lot easier.
What's it called?
Remarkable.
And what did you say was cost wise?
I think it was $130. And that's about it. I'll play with it with you later, but it's really kind of clever. Because, let me get to it. It's just like my filing cabinet. Exactly. It's got all my files in it, anything that I do on a regular basis. And I can pick it up just like that, and I can either write with it with a pen or you can text it. And it also will convert whatever you write to text. If you have legible handwriting. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. So creatively, you're gonna have to start thinking the way that we don't. Think the way the younger generation does. The last time on this one says, consider starting your own company and look into earning a relevant degree. I worked for other people for 10 years. And in my brain, I said, I can do this a whole lot better than they can. I started my own company. How many of you started your own company? Did you feel the way I did about the first 6 months of why in the world did I do this? And how am I gonna be payroll the next week? And then I got my first employee and I thought, how in the world am I gonna pay them in the next 6 months? And it's scary. So for those of you who are thinking about starting your own company, spend some time with some of us who've done it. Because everything you feel when you take that plunge, we have felt. I still wake up in the middle of the night going, how can I meet payroll for 50 people or 80 people? It's still scary. When we talk to people about the next step in their career, a lot of times we'll say, well, describe your perfect job. Well, it's kind of hard. But let's talk about your perfect day. What makes you feel good? What is it about going someplace or sometimes working from home that is going to make you happy? Because if you're not happy, all the money in the world is not going to make you happy and you're not going to stay. It's simply not happen. So think about your perfect day. What time do you like to get up? Some of us are not very good morning people. Some of us change from being very chatty Cathy in the morning to not so chatty until 10 o'clock in the morning. So think about that. What is going to be the day that you're going to be happy? Do you need to work with somebody? And when you think about your perfect day, think about the people that you like to work with. I like to work with people who talk to me. I don't particularly like to get a text from my staff. Drives me nuts. I want them to pick up the phone and call me. Some of you aren't like that. Some of you want to get it in writing first. We ask this of our hiring managers a lot of times. How do you like to get information? Well, why do you want to know that? Because if I place Lynn with you and Lynn is standing in your doorway every time she needs to talk to you, and all you want is an email first, it's gonna drive you nuts and you're gonna tell me to get her out of there. So think about how you like to get information. Oh, goody. We're gonna run through this a little faster now. But think about that. What's your perfect day and how do you like to communicate? Short term, this says attempting to make an action plan for 10 or 12 years is admirable, but most of the time it's 1 year. Take a look at your goals on an annual basis. And take a look at the steps that you need. Filtered through all of this is finances. And then if any of you do not have a financial planner, I don't care how old you are, start now. They'll be your best friend. Because you need to know for yourself, if you want to do anything in your life, are you financially able to do it? I don't care whether it's a beach house or where it's to take off and do what I'm gonna do in a week and go to Canada to go see the polar bears for 10 days. I did it in Antarctica and I did it in the Arctic, so I gotta go see it one more time. Yeah. And yes, I have plenty of clothes, so don't worry, I won't freeze. Okay, take practical steps. Once you have an idea what you want to do, begin taking those steps to reach your goal. Can be little actions. You all are doing this right now. You're in a networking meeting. There are lots of them out there. Join a professional organization. How many of you belong to an organization that does what you do? Okay, for the rest of you, there's probably a professional organization out there. A lot of times they're free. PMI is free, a lot of them are. Join one and you're gonna find like minds because people who do what you do, a lot of times think like you do. And they'll be a big help for you if you have to, that's another great networking tool. If you know that that next step is gonna take more education than you have, bite the bullet and look at that next degree. Or that next technical school. Whatever it is, find out what it is and do it. Do it quietly and then you're prepared. Because when someone says to you, do you have experience with Workday? I don't. None of the companies that I work for have ever used it. We have used such and such, which is similar, but I just took an online course and I feel very confident. Got it? Good. Maintain a list. If you earn recognition or achievements, thank you, Lynn, for cutting my 2-page bio down a little bit. It's hard because I'm the big list maker about the things that we've done and where we've been and where we've served, and because it makes us happy. We've done things that really fulfill our lives, but make that list. Sometimes don't put it on your resume, but make sure that if it is relevant to the job that you're seeking. If I stop doing what I do, I'll probably go to work for a not-for-profit, volunteering, but it's what I love to do. We give back. All of us give back somehow. But keep that list up to date and it really helps understand what you've accomplished. Attend professional development. I don't have to tell you to do that. You're doing it as a regular part of your life. Identify those skills that you need and go. Ask your company, for those of you who work for big companies, they probably have got good professional development that you can attend. Okay, so this is the last page's tips for effective career development. We're good. Make wise choices. For those of you who are thinking about changing careers and you've been at the same company for 10 years or more, I can promise you 60% of the time, the next job you take is going to be a bust and you're going to hate it. See it all the time. Because you're going to go someplace and you think it's perfect. And then you're going to get there and go, why did I do this? These people are not like me. They don't do what I do. They don't think like I do. I don't know where the bathroom is. Nobody took me to lunch the first week. And it's hard. Change is difficult. So really think through wise choices, either your next step or your step out. It's hard. Yes, you can always look for something for growth potential, but if you don't fit where you go next, it's not going to matter. All the job descriptions in the world are not going to make you happy. if you don't fit where you go. Listen to yourself. We've all got that little gut, little noise in us that says, probably shouldn't do that. Listen to your gut. You'll feel it when you walk in the door. It's kind of like going home. If it fits, you'll understand. Know what success means, and success for you is one thing. But if you're changing jobs and are gonna get a new boss, ask them, what is it that I've got to do? What is it I have to accomplish that you know that I'm successful and you hired the right person? And you need to know that, because if they tell you to be successful, we really need you to work till 9 o'clock, 3 nights a week. And you can't work till 9 o'clock, 3 nights a week. Whatever it is that you know that they need you to do to be successful, listen to it. Can you do that? Can you become that? It's hard for us to change a lot of us inside ourselves. Ask others for help. Seek out guidance when you need it, whether you're looking for a new job or deciding what steps to take or identifying potential professional development opportunities. Sometimes that person is me, and sometimes it's the person sitting next to you, because they know you well. And if you go to them, and I go to Carlin and I say, Carlin, I'm thinking about doing this, sit down and talk with me. And he listens and he says, why on earth would you do that? That's not you, Dottie. Listen to the people who know you well. We've all got those people around us that they have our ear and they have our heart and they have our best interest. Always look for the positive. Y'all, we're gonna face challenges and we're gonna fail. Most of you, when you interview or you move up, someone's gonna say, tell me about a situation that you failed at and what did you learn? And if you're not prepared to answer that to your own self, you can't answer it to somebody else. We all make mistakes. Just learn how to jump over them and learn from it. It is awful when you're in a company and every time a sale gets lost, you have to take that thing apart. But take yourself apart and look at the things where you failed. Thank you. I think we're gonna make this. Consider the thoughts of others. While you know yourself best, it's helpful to seek advice and guidance from trusted peers. Okay, I finished 3 minutes early.
Good.
It's time for discussion. Somebody ask a question. I do have cards which I will pass out. I would more than happy to talk with you individually later, and I apologize if Barbara, have not had a chance to get with you. And Carla and I have spoken. Anybody got a question? Thought? Row rocks. Yes, sir.
I've seen scenarios where people, as just kind of an extension to the Zoom, where people will ask a question and say, record a video and send that to me.
Yes.
What's your advice about taking that?
We normally see that when it's a marketing position or a sales position, or at least somewhere that they've got to make a presentation. Get the job description out. You know, after talking with them in the beginning, sometimes it's at the very beginning and you don't even know. For artistic things, you're gonna have a portfolio, that is easy, but if it's a human resources job, take a look at your background, do 5 minutes on what you've done, what you think you can bring to the job. If you can remind me, Lynn, I will send you the tell me how to answer the tell me about yourself question. You can put that to about 4 sentences. Presentations are pretty hard right now because you don't know what they're looking for, but have your personality show through, and try to reflect on something that you could bring to the job. That's all you can ever do. And it's hard. It's very difficult. Yes, sir.
AI.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to use AI in any of your presentations, which everybody is seeking to do now, then get that second app that's an AI checker that will take a look at your presentation and tell you how much of it looks like it's done in AI.
Yeah.
My grandson just had to do something. He's a senior in high school, applying to college, just got into his first college. And he had to write a letter to the band director. And he did it in AI, then AI checked it. And it came back only 60%. He said, that's great. Now, and his dad said, good luck, it's 60%. He said, Dad, half of what everybody does is 90% AI. So he felt comfortable that his AI letter only looked like it was 60% made by AI. Things that you're gonna, we use AI all the time and you don't even realize it. Oh, y'all, your telephone is AI. I mean, you could simply talk to Siri, or talk to Google and say, call somebody. It's AI. What we're looking at now is presentations and letters. I use it, because I get really tired of the way my invitations look when I do calendar invitations and things like that. You run it through ChatGPT. It's free, it's kind of fun, but get used to it. My brother-in-law turned 80, and my sister said to me, I need to write a poem. And I went, use AI. And she went, do what? And I said, bring up ChatGPT and say, I want to write a poem about my 80-year-old husband. He's turning 80 and he does this, and this, and this, and this. And I want it to be 2 minutes. Boom.
Yeah.
It was really kind of fun. It's cute too. She didn't like it. She did it again. She said, fix it. So, yes, sir.
Doug, I was gonna ask you about the response after you've done that interview, whether it be personal or online. The response back to that person by thank you note, what's your opinion on?
No more than 24 hours. Don't ever let 24 hours go by. And I always like a thank you note to say to them that, may I reach out to you within the next week for follow up. And put yourself on a calendar. I don't think I need to ask any of you because most of you got a phone. I live and breathe by my calendar. And I'm really bad about telling my calendar to remind me to get up and go do something in particular. And if you don't do that, you're hurting yourself. Remind yourself. I mean, my admin sends us a reminder 2 weeks after we place somebody, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, to pick up the phone and to call them. AI will not take your job, not you guys. AI will help you write better, and it will help you do some tasks a lot easier. It really will. It's really kind of fun. Follow up, yes, sir, Carlin.
I was just gonna say, when you were talking about social media and LinkedIn. I mean, everyone in here knows you gotta be careful about scrubbing your Facebook and making sure all that, because people will make fines, delete that stuff. quickly.
Oh, yes.
But, I have noticed that LinkedIn has started to drift away from being business centric. And one of the things I've also noted, and maybe this is something I just picked up on LinkedIn, is if you're gonna use it, you need to be posting something at least once a week.
Yes,
You stay up in the algorithm,
yes.
within the algorithm.
Listen, it broke my heart. After 35 years in business, I had to hire somebody to start doing my social media because I'm not trying to do it. It's the best thing I ever did. I looked at my LinkedIn analytics, it's through the roof. It is through the roof. And she's posting once a week about the company. Every 2 weeks, it's my company focused, and the other weeks in the month, it's Memphis focused. It's really interesting. Well, that's not gonna work. Well, it did. It's crazy. But you're right. LinkedIn is drifting away, but you've got to keep your LinkedIn profile. And don't repost on LinkedIn. I mean, if you read something on my site, repost it with a comment. I do that, try to repost 3 times a day. I mean, I just look at it, I see something that you do or you do, and I'll just repost it. Congratulations. Always at the bottom of LinkedIn, it's gonna bring up your LinkedIn people that you know and what's happening to them. Always congratulate them. Never let a chance to go by when one of those pops up that you don't congratulate them. Nice job, great work, can't wait to read the book, whatever. But do that. I mean, y'all, we're working with a group of teenagers that are on their first internships. And when I talked with them 2 weeks ago, I said, take your grandmother with you on your job. And they kind of looked at me like I was out of my mind. And I said, you remember your grandmother? She's the one who said, stand up when I come in the room. Look me in the eye when I'm talking to you. Be polite to people. Don't talk unless you're supposed to talk. And then for those of us who are our age, and write a thank you note before you get home. Because we always did. I mean, I have people who will write their thank you note in the car, or write their thank you note, had it ready to go. But in that thank you note, that's your time to say, enjoy the discussion, blah, blah, blah. And one thing I realized after we finished talking, The thing that you forgot, you go, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I say that? Say it in your thank you note. Follow up with it. I know I'm over.
No,
Y'all, thank you. Anybody else? I'll stick around for a bit.
yeah, please. There's I've often said this a few times that have been talked about, that we've had wow moments. And by the snap of our fingers, how about thank you, guys?
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you very much, y'all.
Here I am, retired and I learned something, I always gotten that information back.